And welcome back to another awesome episode of Damos in the Class. Today's aim is evaluating expressions.
What is the value of this expression? 125 is equal to 100 divided by 5.
Right? So we are going to write that equation, which is 125 take away 100 divided by 5. All right? So in order to do this, from the rules, we're just going to go over those real quick. All right? So the rules of order of operation is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So the easiest way to remember that is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? So that's going to be please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I just want you to write that first. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? That's going to be the first thing I want you to do. So now that we have that to remember, we're going to put in what it stands for. So the please stands for the parentheses. All right. And then we have excuse, and that stands for exponents. We have the my, and that's for multiplication. We have the dear, and that's for division. We have aunt, and that is for addition. And we have Sally for subtraction. And these are the order of operation for math. The rules that we have to go by in order to solve problems. All right, so let me fix this because I'm so sorry, guys. Let me see exponents. All right, another N. Yup. EXPONENTS, exponents. All right, guys. It's okay to make mistakes. The thing is, you want to know you made a mistake so you can fix it. That's what we on over here. Yep. So we can fix it. So there you go. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. So we have to do parentheses first. That's absolutely first. Then we move on to our exponents. Now, the thing about multiplication and division, these both are done from left to right. So this goes from left to right, meaning whichever comes first in the equation, either it being multiplication, division, but not before addition and subtraction. So these is left to right as well, right? So that means basically if you have addition and subtraction and multiplication and division, you're going to go with the multiplication first, going left to right to which way that it comes. I will show you more in the problem. But it's the same thing with the addition and subtraction. They go from left to right as well. But they're still last. So you have to have done all of the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division before you look at the subtraction and addition. But when you are to look at the subtraction and the addition, then you still go from left to right, meaning this way, from left to right. So this is a prime example here. We have subtraction and we also have division in this equation. However, we have to do the division first. Why? Because it comes first in our order of operation. So we do that first, and that's what we're going to do. But I just want you guys to get a chance to write that down. All right, so hopefully everyone got a chance to get that down who needed it. You can always pause and go back. So I am going to go into solve, okay? All right, so like the rule says, we have to do parentheses first or brackets, right? So we have parentheses and we're going to do those first. Well, we don't, excuse me, we don't have any parentheses. I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking. Sorry. We don't have any parentheses. We only have subtraction and division. And so in our order of operations, I should have just left it. I don't know why I erased it. So let me just write it again. So I promise you, if you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It'll remind you. Okay? So we don't have any parentheses. We don't have any exponents. We don't have any multiplication, but we do have division. So we are going to go in and do our division first. So we have 100 divided by 5. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put our 100 in the house. We're going to put our 100 in the house. And we're going to put our 5 on the outside.
2 groups.
Yep, and we're going to get 2 groups. Why? Because 5 is too big to go into 1. So now we have to look at the 10. And that means we get 2 groups of 5. And we do the multiplication. And what's our multiplication?
5 times 2 equals 10.
5 times 2 equals 10. So we write our 10 underneath our 10. We subtract. We do not have to write a 0 underneath here because 10 take away 10 will leave us with nothing. But we do have to bring out our next 0. So we will bring down that 0. And because it's 0, we cannot get a group. We just automatically put a 0 up here. We do our multiplication. 0 times 5, which again is 0. And the end of the problem, which gives us an answer of 20. All right? So I like to put my answer right up underneath the problem part of where I was working so I can rewrite the rest of the problem that was already there. So I'm just going to add in my 125. Now that I did that, I'm just going to go ahead, since it's on the horizontal, I need it vertically. So we're just going to put the 20 underneath here. 5 take away. When there's a 0 here, you don't even have to think. You could just automatically bring down whichever numbers. So we're just going to bring down that 5. We have 2 numbers that's exactly the same, and we have a subtraction, so we should know that that is automatically a 0. And then there's nothing underneath here, which means it's a 0. So we do the same thing and just bring down that 1. So that's going to give us an answer of 105. Great job.
Which our operation should be completed first. 35 divided by 5 plus 2 and parentheses times 7.
All right, so like the problem says, it just wants to know what operation we're doing first. However, we're going to work the whole problem, okay? Because the thing about me, another reason why I teach my son is because I don't agree or like sometimes some of the things that I witness as watching from a parent at home. I don't like that some things aren't thoroughly taught or practiced on. So that's why I started this channel, to help my son and to share with everyone else, right? So with that being said, again, the problem does not ask for everything. It just want to know what we're going to do first. So we're going to answer that first, right? So what is our order operations? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What do we do first always? Always first. What's first?
The parentheses.
Exactly. Parentheses is always number 1. So we have this inside the parentheses, which is 5 plus 2. So that is what we're going to do first. The 5 plus 2 equals how much?
10.
10. 5 plus 2?
Equals 7.
Thank you. Not 2 5s. But that's all right. So now I like to write my answer there, right up underneath there, and then I'm going to just fill in with everything else that was already there. And that's how I start to solve my first step for solving an order of operations problem that extended like so. Good job. Okay, so like I said, the homework, it says it just wants the order of operation and for you to know which one to do first. We said we're doing 5 plus 2, so that's what we did. That is definitely the correct step. However, that is the end of that problem, and we're not stopping there. We're going to keep going to actually solve. So, to solve this problem, now we have division and we have multiplication. And as the rule says, it goes from left to right, whichever comes first, when dealing with multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. So, first we have 35 divided by 7. So that is just simply putting the 35 in the house. The 7 is out on the outside.
5 roots.
And that's great job. We just needed to know how many groups does it take to get to 35. 5 times 7 is how much?
35.
35 goes right underneath. And we know we have our 5. So I like to put that answer right there up underneath the equation that I'm working. So then I can just bring down what is left. And that is 5 times 7. Once again, is how much?
35.
35. And so the answer to the problem is 35. Great job. See that? And that's the other reason why I say, why are we not working it to the end? Because you guys can definitely get the answer. And it's going to give you practice. And that's what you need. So to just to identify what goes first, yes, that's a great part of it. And the major step, because that's the whole thing about order of operations. There's definitely an order. But once you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you got the order. And now that you got the order and you remember the order and you do the order, you can solve. All right? Great job.
What is the value of this expression? 12 plus 6 in parentheses divided by 2 plus 1.
So, like the problem says, we have parentheses 12 plus 6, close parentheses, plus 2, divided by 2. Divided by 2 plus 1. All right? And so, the first thing we do is, after writing our equation, we check the list. Right, Jamia?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, on our list, what do we look for everything to see what we have? What do we have of? First thing we look at what? Is parentheses, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have parentheses?
Yeah.
All right. So, then that means that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the 12 plus 6 in parentheses. Okay, so if we're at 12, you can just count up 6. Most of the time, I do write it vertically. But if it's a ones, which is, these are ones, those are 10s, and ones, that's just ones. You could just easily count that up. You don't necessarily have to write a new equation, but however, I will for this. You could either put the 6 right up underneath it so you can see it. And you're still at 6, and you're going to count up 2 times. And where are you at?
8.
All right. So we get an 8, and there's a 1 with nothing. So we just bring that down, and that gives us an answer of 18. And that is the answer for the parentheses. So we are done with the parentheses, but we do need to rewrite the rest of the problem so we can continue to solve. All right. So now we have 18 takeaway. 18. I keep saying takeaway, guys. I'm so sorry. That is a divide. Let me make that strong the way I can see. So that's 18 divided by 2 plus 1. So again, this first thing that we always do with each part of the problem, every part of the problem, we have to do what?
The division.
No, what do we have to do before we can do anything?
The parentheses.
Okay, but before you say what it is, you're checking the list. That's what you have to do. You don't just call out anything, right? You go by the list, the order of operations. That's why we have it. That's why we need it. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So this is the order, right? So we just did the parentheses because we have parentheses. Do we have parentheses now?
No.
All right, so we don't have to do that. Do we have exponents?
No.
Do we have multiplication?
No.
What do we have? Do we have division?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is what we're going to do next. We are going to do the division. All right, so that's simply going to be 18 in the house. My marker's trying to go down on me. So we got 18 in the house, and we have 2 on the outside. So how many 2 groups can we get out of 18?
9 groups.
9 groups. Great job. All right, so I like to put my answer right up underneath there. And then I'm going to rewrite what is left and continue to solve the problem. We have 9. We're just going to add 1 to it.
It's 10.
Exactly. Great job. So we have an answer of 10. And that is the answer to the problem, guys. Great job.
The value of this expression is 6. 24 divided by 6 plus 2. If parentheses are placed around 6 plus 2, what will the value of the expression be?
All right. So now for this one, we have this expression, 24 divided by 6 plus 2. And the problem says that the value of this expression is 6. And why does it say that? I'm about to show you. So we're going to solve it so you can see. The value of the expression means that's how much is worth, right? That's what the equal sign would get you 6. So let's work that out to see. So we use our order operations. We have no parentheses. We have no exponents. We have no multiplication, but we do have what? Division. So that's what we're going to do first. Exactly. Great job. 24 divided by 6 is going to give you 4. I like to, again, put it right there. So then I can add my 4 plus 2 is how much? 4. Exactly. Equals 6. Great job. That's why they say that that expression has a value of 6, because it does. All right, but we're not done. So the question says, if the parentheses are placed around the 6 plus 2, what will be the values expression then? So let's rewrite that. Well, I am 24 divided by 6 plus 2. But we're going to put that now in parentheses. And that changes everything. All right, because from the order operations, it says clearly that we have to do our parentheses first. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. So now 6 plus 2 gives you what?
8.
All right, so we put that 8 right here. And we bring our divide 24 down. So now we have a different division. Now this 24 divided by 8 is the same as 24 in the house with 8 on the outside.
3 groups.
And that gives you a 3. So you see how the answer changes once parentheses are involved. So therefore, if you do not solve the problem using order operations correctly, you will not get the correct answer. Great job.
Which operation should be completed first? 250 take away 48 plus 6 divided by 2 times 4.
All right, so for this one, again, it's just going to ask you which part do we do first, which operation should be done first. And so we're just going to write the problem, 250, take away 48. All right, plus 6 divided by 2 times 4. And I know when you see that, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, it kind of looked like it, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it looks. All right, so to figure out what we do first with no parentheses, right? We have no parentheses, we have no exponents. So do we have any multiplication or division? Because multiplication and division are on the same level. So whichever comes first going left to right is what we do. So we have a division here, we have a multiplication here, but the division is first. So we're going to do that first. We have the 6 divided by 2.
3.
Oh, great job, which is the same as putting the 6 in the house with the 2 on the outside, giving you 3 groups like Jamir just said. So we put our 3 here so we can bring down our times 4 on the back end. and our plus 48, take away 250 on the front. This way you don't lose anything and you keep everything in place. Now, for the problem, it said which one did we do first. So which one did we do first? We did the 6 divided by 2. Now, is that correct? It most definitely is. But, like I said, we're working all these problems to the finish. So with that being said, let's work this problem. Let's keep going. So we still look from left to right. And we go until we see, because we have subtraction and addition, but we also have a multiplication. So we need to do the multiplication first. So we're going to do that. 3 times 4 is how much?
Extra.
Yep. So we put our 12 here. We add the 48 in front. And then take away the 250 in front of that. Keeping everything that we started with. All right. And so now that we did that, we still looking from left to right. We only have subtraction and addition, which are both on the same equal level. So we do whichever one comes first. So this one comes first, which is the 48, 250. Take away the 48. It being horizontal is not the easiest way to solve or to see the answer. So you could just put it right up underneath. Now we're going to have to do what? Borrow, correct?
Borrow.
Mm-hmm. So we have 10, take away 8. And that's going to leave us with how much? 2?
Yeah, 2.
All right. And 4, take away 4 is going to give us a 0. And we just bring down that 2. So now we have 202. But we're not done. We still have the plus 12. So we're going to bring that down. And again, to solve it horizontally is not the easiest, so we put it right up underneath the 202 so we can see it very clear. Now we have 2 plus 2 is how much?
4.
And 1 and 0, we know is just the 1, and we just bring the 2 down. So we would have an answer of 204. I hope that makes it easier. But it lets you see that it's not as hard as it looks, right? Great job.
What is the value of this expression? 15 take away 3 plus 2.
All right, so what's the value of this expression, which is 15? Take away 3. Is it plus 2? Yep, plus 2. All right, so Jamir, looking at this equation, knowing now what you know about the order of operations, going from left to right, what we have, what sign is? Subtraction, and we have addition. So what are we going to do first here?
Parentheses.
There's no parentheses. So when there's no parentheses, all right, you go down the list. There's no parentheses. There's no exponents. There's no multiplication. Do you see division? There's no division. Can you go down the list and you don't just call out stuff? You look at what you have. Do you have any of those? No. So you keep going until you get there. Now, these are on the same level, addition and subtraction, which means they're not greater than the other. So when we say going from left to right, that's what that means, whichever comes first. So we have subtraction and addition. They're on the same level. No one's bigger. But whichever one comes first is the one we do. Okay, so that's the catchy part. And that was the reason why I wanted to ask you, because that's the biggest problem with order of operations. That multiplication and division, they both hold the same weight as well. So whichever one comes first in the problem, after you did, but you have to be clear, parentheses is number 1, has to be done first. If there's no parentheses, you move down the list to the next one, exponents. There's no exponents, you move down to multiplication. But if the problem has multiplication and division in the same problem, like how they have subtraction and addition, then you have to do whichever one comes first, moving from left to right. So, same thing with addition and subtraction. They have the same weight, but they have to be done last. Addition and subtraction is last in the orders of operation. And when I say last, multiplication and division has to go first. Exponents have to go first. And parentheses have to been going. So that's why it's in this order. And you have to look at every problem in this order. You look, parentheses, no. Exponents, no. Multiplication, no. Division, no. Addition, yes. Right? So once you look, addition and subtraction, yes. So now it doesn't matter. But it does. Which one comes first? They weigh the same amount, which means no one goes first. It's not. If the plus would have been first, then you would do the plus. That's what it means. It just depends on how it's written. Going from left to right, whichever one you get to first, with these two, that's which one you do first. Same thing with multiplication and division. Whichever one you get to first is the one that you do. So now let's look. We have subtraction first. So that's the one we do. Why? Because this is addition. If this would have been a multiplication sign, we'd have to do multiplication first. Understand? But it's not. It's subtraction and addition. They both on the same level, so we do whichever one comes first. So 15 takes away 3 comes first, right? So you can count up. I like to write it visually where you can see. So I'm going to put the 3 underneath here. So now you add 3, you count up to 5.
2.
So now you have 2 left, and you just bring down to 1. So now you have 12, and all I'm going to do is add my 2. And I'm at 12, I'm going to count up 2.
14.
Exactly. And now I get an answer of 14. Okay? And that's how you solve that. Great job. Hope you're learning it. Understanding?
Yeah.
All right.
Which operation should be completed first? 32 times 4 plus 15 take away 8 divided by 4 in parentheses.
All right. So now let's try our last problem. And again, this one just wants to know which operation is going to be done first. And like I told you, we're working it to the finish. So we got 32 times 4. Then we have plus parentheses. We have 15 take away 8 divided by 4 close parentheses. Okay? So now, once again, when they start doing all that, make you say, oh my goodness, what is all of this? So let me show you what it is. We use our order operations, right? So we check parentheses. Do we have parentheses?
Yeah.
Of course we do. So this is what we're doing first. This is our first step, right? Now the problem just wants to know what should be done first. So now, not only are we doing this, but we have 2 different operations inside. Yes? But the rules still are the same. They don't change. So we have a subtraction and we have a division. If you go by the order operation, which one do we do first? We already in the parentheses now. Now we try to decide, do we do subtraction or division first? Which one do we do first?
Multiplication.
We don't, listen, you don't stop just saying anything. Do you see multiplication in here?
No.
So it doesn't apply. You see what's in here. Which one do we do first? We have subtraction, we have division. Which one are we going to do first?
Division.
Thank you. That's what I need you to understand. I need you to only focus on what is there in your problem, not just in general. This is specific to problem. So we have subtraction, we have division, we do the division first. So that is 8 divided by 4, which is the same as 8 in the house, 4 in the outside. How many 4 groups can we get?
2 groups.
We can get 2, okay? So we get a 2 here. But we're not done because it's still within the parentheses, yes? So we have a takeaway 15 in front, which is still in our parentheses, which means we still have to work this, okay? So we're at 15, take away 2. You can put the 2 underneath here to see it very easily. I like to see it that way. So then you know you're at 2. You just count up to 5.
3.
All right, that's going to give you 3 with a 1 left.
13.
Exactly. So now, that's the whole answer, 13, for this whole parentheses. But we need to write the rest of this problem. So we have 13 plus the 4 times the 32 in front. That's what we end up with now after we did this portion. Okay? So that's the first steps. Continue to solve the problem. We're using the order of operation. We only have two, pay attention, we only have two signs. We have a multiplication and we have an addition. We look at our list. Which one do we do first? Do we do multiplication or do we do addition?
Multiplication.
Exactly. We do multiplication first. So that's what we do. 32 times 4. So we have 32. We put the 4 underneath. And then what's 4 times 2?
8.
All right. And what's 4 times 3?
12.
So we get an answer of 128. So I put my 128 right here. And I add my 13 to it. Yes? You with me?
Yes.
All right. So now this is our last little final step. Of course, it's horizontal, and I like it vertical, which is up and down. So I'm going to put the 13 right up underneath there because we're going to add it. And we have 8. We're going to count up to 3. Count up 3 times.
4, 5, 6.
No, we're at 8 already. We're counting up 3 times.
11.
Thank you. So we have a 1 and we carry the 1. And 1 plus 2 is what?
3.
Plus 1.
4.
All right. And we just bring down our last one. So we get a total answer of 141. Great job hanging in there. Think you're getting it?
Mm-hmm.
A little tricky. Got to practice. But you think you're getting it?
Yeah.
Start to understand the order operations. You got to pay attention. You got to see what sign you got and see where it come out on your list. But you'll get it. We're going to keep practicing. Great job. So everyone, that's the end of our video. I truly hope that you got something out of it. Orders operation, we're going to keep on working. This is just the beginning of topic 13. So guys, always remember, it's never about what you don't know. Always about what you're willing to learn. Until the next time, hope to see you there.